abusia for high Alpha 1GH say and no first time about so any de novo kwan so now I subscribe ya man say be news be no she be na wa subscribe no when your notification phone so na se na benya e bia obenya notification phone so ye kwoti asempa bia no pay ya say ama sisi no Ghana ni bia ni age especially in this amanyoko nim na sisi no wo hwe your screen so a ye be hu eye jeje runs eye ni phone ya that's what say enya asem ketwa na ohwe so a ese Burkina Faso names street as the street na eyo mo ankasa kasem to hana the former Ghana president late Jerry John Rawlings a chese enya asem ketwa na eno na tisi ababetodwa amaze Zenator Rawlings ne brother a chese omakwa ku pie emo Burkina Faso Ibrahim try a surprise visit kaka chese enya you akuti ho news kaka chese brother nankasa mu no kasa chese enya asem ketwa na eni se vanze wo yere kura mpo no se you could post on social media near cancer papa fan wan say lankase anase ye cancer papa fan ho o baby anu wani age enti right now no enye ni general be hye sa busua na ekomemu a enka ne ma no enya do agopi visit Burkina Faso I home pictures ni ano ye be show ye video ni mo a chese energy sempa chese enya asankatwa na enim se ne manani age de nipa oben ni pa chese ne ya chese ne kunawu no Konadu Agyeman Rawlings onso den na kuma mo na ni age pa o de ensem no kam ne nkotinsi ma betutudwa ye ba ne de nkomatwe wi ayi atoaso
its magnitude a while ago. The Thomas Sankara's foundation have done their best to keep his legend alive, and we've always been happy to support. President Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings was certainly, my father was certainly a huge supporter of the foundation, and he was a very close friend of Thomas Sankara. So it means a lot to be here, and it means a lot that the whole of Africa was more or less here to support this momentous occasion. United, we will rise, and divided, we will fall. That's the way I look at it. I think now more than ever, we have the opportunity to come together as a continent. Many have come before who have tried to accomplish this, but I feel that the atmosphere is perfect for that kind of unity. We see what is happening in the West, and for once at ourselves and see how we can progress as a continent, not just, divided whereby everybody is doing something in their own little corner. And together, I think we could be a force for good in this world. So I think let's streamline things, let's work towards a better future, and I think our leaders are on the precipice of making that happen. So I think we're in a good place, but certainly united, we will be able to accomplish that.
Until it's linked to the ideals and principles that he stood for. Those that gathered there, they still live in the memory of Sankara. That is the most important thing. I mean, he was a Pan-Africanist, true and true. He tried to revolutionize the economy of Burkina Faso. Mind you, he gave the name Burkina to Burkina. He used to be Upper Volta. He concentrated on agriculture, taking inspiration from Ghana's own history, Kwame Nkrumah's history. He tried to liberalize the minds of ordinary Burkinabes, telling them that it was not good to engage in polygamy, which received a lot of opposition from Burkinabes because they felt that where was he coming from? That we are in Burkina.
That's new to me.
Yes, he kicked against polygamy. He fought it and became an enemy of the state.
So you mean he was anti-Arab?
Yes,
those were part of his strategy for national development.
Yes, and he also removed poll taxes in the rural areas. Yeah. I mean, if you lived in the rural setting in Burkina, you were not paying lampo, what you call lampo. And also tried to win Burkina from its over dependence on Betty Woo's institutions like the IMF. I mean, IMF has always been, I don't see it as a partner in development for Africans. I see the IMF as a partner in destruction. And they are there just to make sure that African countries, and for that matter, third world countries, never develop to become first world countries. And he succeeded to a large extent. He was loved by his people. But just like is very common with previous leaders in Burkina, Burkina has a very peculiar history. You come through a coup d'etat, you are taken out through a coup d'etat. That is how their system has been. Remember, Blaise Compaoré was the one that led the coup that brought Sankara himself. But he was the one that assassinated him in 1987. You get my point? So you would ask yourself, why would someone who will fight for you to become the president turn around and assassinate you when it was not something more of non-performance, but because he also felt he could be the president of Burkina Faso. So the death of Sankara and the celebration of it must always remind those that celebrate that he stood for certain principles. I am not too much interested in celebration for celebration's sake. We like these ideas too much. Oh, we are commemorating the memories. What are you commemorating the memories of that personality with? Corruption still remains a major headache on our continent. Corruption. And I'm very happy that you'll be coming to the Chief Justice and Battle One's issue. That is why we are not developing. How many of the people that met there are not corrupt? How many of them? Yet you went there and stood by Sankara and you were crying, grieving more than the bereaved, eh? You should have woken up from his sleep and slapped all of them so that we move on. You are not living the memories of him. Accountability. People lead us in Africa and they don't want to be accountable to us. They don't want. They feel that when you call for accountability, you have spoken an unspoken or unwritten code. These were the things that Sankara stood for. But I always say, like we have been debating here, and just like some of us have been advising the current president of Burkina, he should let his own country's history guide him. I still believe that at a point he has to return the country back to a civilized way of leading. If Burkina wants to chart a new path of democracy where it is more like a monarch, they should go by that way. Unless until they get to that point, I don't think that using the barrel of the gun to ascend to the presidency will give you that peace. I always pity military leaders. They work as high-risk entities. You understand? If President Mahama is traveling, and if Traore is traveling to the same destination, I am telling you, the security budget for Traore will be times 10 than that of John Mahama. Even within Burkina, because he's a threat. Yeah. But because John Mahama was elected through the tomb, the risk profile is always less. Yeah. And you can achieve whatever you want to achieve using the tomb. If you get the right leader who is willing to take the country to the next level, I can tell you that whatever Burkina is doing, that person can do here. Just that we don't want to develop. Let Burkina return to democracy and let the memories of those that are celebrating Sankara, let them also live by that memories, so that Africa will not find its citizens going to do menial works and jobs in someone's country only for peanuts.
Thank you very much, Sulubo. Let me come to Dr. Marazuk. What are your thoughts on Ghana sending a high-level delegation to, you know, in solidarity, celebrate with the Burkinabés, their very respected leader, Sankara?
Good morning to the cherished viewers and thanks for the opportunity. What Ghana government has done is an illustration of many good things. One, unity in diversity. Two, solidarity within the West African sub-region. And three, the Pan-Africanism in reality. So it is good. But let me say that the struggle to gain is as important as the burden to maintain. So it's not what we witness today. The most important thing is our ability to sustain the gain so far by the military junta of Burkina Faso. And let me comment President Mahama in this context for striking a reasonable balance. And I'm referring to the balance between his commitment to constitutional order and his contribution to the revitalization of the Pan-African anti-imperialist agenda initiated or spearheaded by a military junta. Here we are dealing with a very difficult situation.
Yeah.
I will side with Solo. In fact, he has taken some of my words, but I will emphasize them. Whatever the gentleman is doing is good for us. But the only negative aspect of it is that it is also more likely.
Easier it would be for them to, feel a part of the system, even if they stay out, that we can still work together. We don't necessarily have to have everybody in to work together. Most important is to work together, see ourselves as one, and have a common vision. I think the delegation also being led by the defense minister is strategic. You see someone like Tutu Kwachi in there, he's former national security capo. You see Colonel Gbeblo Lati, also the former national security capo, and now Ambassador extraordinaire, in charge of ensuring that the 3 countries that have left the ECOWAS bloc would back. The spokesperson for the president or the government was also there, together with the daughter of former President Jerry John Rawlings. I mean, for obvious.
We give honor to a person who deserves such a year. Ebeka ipa oje nunyam yede sa eye nunyam shane mano so fata nkwan dia dinti ne kasa nje kasa ne se akofo ado ono ankasa mu no na ono ankasa pon ho abaso so bia mbo na baso na bo trumpet ko si statue ekosi bebe kwampa na ankasa eska no bitima ede abo hospital na isi onyo na asiye na akwesisi ho ye to abani wie hu se olusi no mbubu statue nyina tugu ye we enim kwase because we honor you based on your performance. Yet the enunyam she amount based on niema why ya boa sa o man no. Ye mpa no ya boa man no. Eya jena wa na eye cathedral $58 million na o ye na asate. Die na wa ye akusi on statue. Like die na wa ye onye hwe entina obeti say Kwame Akroma University. Why any maba venten di dia to so ana so no mpu company ni siye e di dia ne atoso asemesi e di dia to so akwaje interchange yes ne di dia to so because why any maba vade amagana e di dia to so Rich Hospital ka wasa modi Muhammad into so because ono na siye ono a omso osiama e Ghana man but niema why amagana no o so ye ofata enyonyamhye Neno, ene ne koda sorry as Zenator Rawlings na busuafo nyina ayeden. Eri agia just Ibrahim ogupiem or Burkina Faso made on pay a year. Burkina Faso President Ibrahim Traore a year surprising visit bia. Just said Savi kakana ya kwhwe ya just na enya asanketwa. E ho pictures kakan so yeden ye yibi a chemo a just na enya asanketwa. Na right now as we speak Ekwa say ye ni gisem edema ye man Ghana na utie niema kika kwa na chese enya asam ketwa. So those are the surprise visitor Zenator Rawlings and any new brother nede ekoshia chese na enya asam ketwa. O share screen so kakra ubehu pictures ahodo a chese ababetu todwa chese eni gisem kese pa edema JJ runs a bush for so we don't do those things. Yeah, Nemo Street. How come be Nemo Street? this is could just and scape near that. But we know JJ Rawlings married a man could just be and no say who president. I just say he names so respect our Kwama a year Ghana for Kwampo a bon ambassador had no. A dear on society. It's my friend JJ Rawlings Dean. A dear 2 streets be a street in air so ye papa. Now some of their managers and Nimonyam she can see ye de ama a year. JJ Rawlings the late former president the amana panjas and yas of Katoa. So I know na Ghana for be Kesi. Akofado. Niema no why about a statue no any solo. Say on one casa de Eddie 2 on one casa so why and those niema no. Sevi Nyansen be any quasan quiesa. Ma Ghana for me the emmo abaso. Ma for me the emmo abaso. Ma senia oye Agyeman mum near the enso afofani enye wan kasa wo beso wan kasa ho ani na oye niema de please wan kasa ho e de praise wan kasa ho de bi eni kwan so yesa. Oh, those are the issue na Solomon the e kan wasem na wo hwe Zenator Rawlings ni nua be ma na wo hwe na nim se no sikasa na se na ni agye pa pictures ya hold e ba bon so mi won say Burkina Faso Akroma fo nyina den was ne mana ne papa na to ne mani ni like mani aje just say ehun for me ehun for ni nyina no ye hwe just na enya asam keto akwampo no bi betima che adwen o comment se binim so ahia ma dan for so ye bi ahwe haya for anje jakam na